The IRS is cutting 7,000 employees, and that could mean delays for people waiting on tax refunds, but it could also impact those who owe taxes, deal with audits, or just need help from the IRS. Fewer staff means longer wait times, slower processing, and possibly even fewer audits, for now at least. So whether you're expecting a refund, preparing to pay in, or just trying to stay on top of tax rules, this affects you. Let's break it all down so you know exactly what's happening and what you can do right now. Alright, so first off, what's actually happening? The IRS just announced that they're laying off about 7,000 employees, most of them in compliance roles. And if you're wondering what that means, compliance staff are the ones who review tax filings, conduct audits, and track down people who owe back taxes. In short, they make sure people pay what they owe. Now, these IRS agents were probationary employees, people who were hired as part of the big $80 billion funding expansion under the Inflation Reduction Act. But now a chunk of that funding, about $20 billion, has been clawed back by Congress, and the IRS is shifting its priorities. However, these layoffs aren't just about funding. They're also part of the Trump administration's broader effort to reduce the size of federal government. The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, led by Elon Musk, has been leading this initiative, targeting employees with less than a year of service, since they lack civil service protections, making them easier to let go. Basically, the IRS is downsizing instead of expanding, which means fewer people processing tax returns, handling audits, and responding to taxpayer questions. And while this could mean fewer audits in the short term, the IRS is also shifting its focus towards technology and AI-driven enforcement efforts, which could change how compliance is handled moving forward, which is a topic we might have to cover in a future video. So, what does this mean for you? Let's start with refunds. With fewer IRS employees processing tax returns, refund delays are a real possibility. We've seen this happen before. When the IRS is short-staffed, processing times can stretch from weeks to months. And if you're someone who owes taxes, these staff cuts could also affect you. Fewer agents means longer hold times if you need to call the IRS for assistance. It could also mean delays in processing installment agreements or payment plans if you're setting up a payment schedule. And what about audits? With compliance staff being cut, there may be fewer audits in the short term. But don't think the IRS isn't watching because, like I said before, they're ramping up AI-driven compliance efforts using automation to flag tax discrepancies more efficiently. So even though there are fewer human auditors, enforcement is still a priority. Alright, so with all that in mind, what can you do about any of this? You can file as soon as possible, because the earlier you file, the less chance your refund will get stuck in processing delays. You can e-file instead of mailing your return, because paper returns take much longer for the IRS to process. You should set up direct deposit as well, since refunds by paper check can take weeks longer to arrive. And you should double check your tax return for mistakes, because even small errors can slow things down or even trigger an audit. Bottom line, the IRS is facing big staff cuts, and that could mean slower refunds, longer response times, and changes to enforcement. But if you file as early as possible, e-file, and use direct deposit, you stand a chance at avoiding the worst of the potential delays. But then again, we are in the middle of tax season, so there's only so much we can do. We'll just have to wait and see. But hey, if you've got questions or you're worried about tax season, drop a comment below. Are you concerned about the IRS delays? Have you dealt with refund issues before? Let us know. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on tax changes and how they affect you.